Imagine this. You're miles from shore, the sun beating down, and nothing but the endless blue of the ocean in every direction. The only sound is the gentle lapping of waves against a boat that's dead in the water. This was the nightmare that became a reality for three friends: Liam, Noah, and Chloe. What started as a perfect day of sailing turned into a desperate fight for survival. Their engine had sputtered and died, their radio was silent, and their supplies were dwindling fast. For 2 days, they drifted, their hope shrinking with the setting sun. Liam, ever the optimist, tried to keep spirits high. Noah, the practical one, rationed their last few bottles of water and stale crackers. Chloe, a skilled navigator, scanned the horizon, searching for anything: a ship, a distant coastline, a sign of hope. But there was nothing, just the vast, empty expanse of the sea. By the third day, desperation began to set in. Their thirst was agonizing, their hunger a gnawing pain. They knew they couldn't just wait to die. That evening, as the sky turned a brilliant orange, Chloe spotted it, a faint dark line on the horizon. Land. It was a sliver of hope, but it was miles away. Too far to see clearly, but close enough to ignite a fierce debate. Could they make it? The boat was useless, a floating coffin. Their only chance was to swim for it. Noah was the first to voice the terrifying thought. "We have to swim," he said, his voice raspy. "If we stay here, we're done for." Liam, usually the brave one, looked pale. The thought of entering that deep, dark water was paralyzing. What lay beneath the surface? The unspoken fear hung heavy in the air. Sharks. They'd seen fins circling the boat from a distance just yesterday. Chloe, however, was resolute. She calculated the distance, the currents, the time they had until nightfall. "It's our only shot," she said, her voice firm. "We stick together. We use what's left of the boat for flotation." They tore apart seats and found a few empty fuel cans to cling to. It wasn't much, but it was something. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows on the water, they made their decision. They would swim. One last look at their crippled boat, and one by one, they slipped into the chilling embrace of the ocean. The water was colder than they expected, a shock to their exhausted bodies. They kicked in unison, clinging to their makeshift floats, their eyes fixed on that distant shore. For the first hour, a strange sense of purpose fueled them. They were doing something, fighting back against the relentless sea. They talked to keep their spirits up, shouting encouragement to one another over the sound of the waves. But as darkness enveloped them completely, the reality of their situation sank in. They were tiny, vulnerable specks in an immense, living ocean. Every splash, every shadow, sent a jolt of fear through them. The first sign of trouble was a bump, a hard, solid bump against Liam's leg. He cried out, a sound of pure terror that was quickly swallowed by the night. "What was that?" Noah yelled, his voice trembling. Chloe tried to stay calm. "It's probably just a piece of debris," she said, though she didn't believe it herself. But then came another bump, this time against Chloe. It was forceful, deliberate. Panic began to take hold. They kicked harder, their movements becoming frantic and uncoordinated. They were no longer a team, but three terrified individuals fighting a primal fear. Then, the water around Liam erupted. He screamed, a high-pitched, agonizing sound that will haunt the survivor for the rest of their days. One moment he was there flailing, and the next, he was pulled under the surface with a violent tug. The water where he had been turned dark. Noah and Chloe screamed his name, their voices filled with horror and disbelief. But there was only silence, and the chilling, undeniable truth. They were not alone in the water. They were being hunted. The fear was now a physical entity, cold and suffocating. They could feel the presence in the water, circling them, patient and menacing. Noah, losing all reason, started swimming with wild, panicked strokes, leaving Chloe behind. "Noah, wait, we have to stick together," she screamed after him, but he was consumed by terror. He just wanted to get away. It was a fatal mistake. The predator, likely drawn by the erratic splashing, targeted him next. Chloe heard another scream, shorter this time, cut off abruptly. She was alone, utterly and completely alone in the dark, with the knowledge that two of her friends had just been taken by a shark. Every instinct told her to give up, to let the ocean take her too. The grief and terror were overwhelming. Her body ached, her limbs felt like lead, and the shore seemed no closer than it had hours ago. But then, a different instinct took over. The will to live. It was a tiny flicker at first, but it grew into a burning fire. She thought of her friends, of their fight, of their screams. She couldn't let their sacrifice be for nothing. She had to make it. She had to tell their story. With a newfound resolve, she forced herself into a steady, rhythmic kick. She stopped splashing. She controlled her breathing. She became one with the water, trying to seem like just another piece of floating ocean debris. She swam through the night, a long, torturous journey through a personal hell. She didn't dare to look down. She just focused on the horizon, waiting for the first light of dawn. The hours blurred into an eternity of fear and exhaustion. She talked to herself, to her friends, praying for the strength to keep going. Just as she felt she couldn't kick one more time, she saw it. The sky began to lighten in the east, and the dark line on the horizon started to take shape. It wasn't just a line. It was trees. It was a beach. It was land. That sight gave her the last surge of adrenaline she needed. She pushed through the pain, her mind screaming with every stroke. The sun rose, warming her frozen skin. She could smell the land now, the earthy scent of soil and vegetation. Finally, her feet touched something solid, sand. She stumbled out of the water, crawling onto the beach before collapsing, her body and soul completely spent. She had made it. She was alive. But as she lay on the warm sand, sobbing with a mixture of relief and devastating grief, she knew she was the only one, a sole survivor of a beautiful day that turned into the darkest of nightmares. She survived the sea, but the memory of the two friends she lost would be a part of her forever.